Okay, Taurus. I'm just gonna get into the reading tonight and make it as painless as I can. All I can say to start the reading is I've got 4 readings left for the end of October, and the energy behind at least one of those has been interesting, to say the least. I have a feeling it's Taurus. Which would make sense since I'm a Taurus if there's something I'm not gonna like, but there's a lot of anxiety right now. This reading is for the end of September 2021. The readings this month, although I'm just now getting started to try to get on a schedule with getting readings out, both for the collective and for the astrological signs. I had every good intention and started out well with the other readings. These last 4, as soon as I got to Taurus, it just something put the brakes on. The world and universe kept throwing monkey wrenches into every which way it could go. So there's something, I think, in that energy, and I do think it has to do with my fellow Tauruses. So if you are getting that sort of energy at the end of this month, when you want to push forward with something, you have every good intention of doing something you absolutely believe you should do, and yet the universe just keeps saying, not quite yet, not quite yet. There wasn't something you weren't supposed to know just yet. And now you're starting to get answers. Put a comment down in the below so I don't feel so alone. Since I'm saying that, I'll go ahead and say like and subscribe if this helps you. I said I wasn't going to get long-winded, and I'm going to skip my usual intros, but whatever this feeling is, it has been the craziest at least the last week has been absolutely insane. And I don't want to offend anybody in my life. I'm happy to talk to everybody I've been talking to. I've been excited to do the things that I've been doing. But it has just been insanely busy. So it was like the universe was trying to keep me from seeing something, thinking about something, whatever it was. It's just been crazy. On that note, I'm now going to release all of my own personal stuff. I'm going to say the prayer, and we're going to get into the reading and see what it is for the general collective. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the power and the kingdom and the glory forever and ever. Heavenly Father, please remove all other energies from me, from my energy field. Remove all negative thoughts or energies, any angst, if you will. Please allow me to be an empty vessel so that I might receive your messages clearly and be of the most help that I can be. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Okay. So far, I only know what we're starting with. Come to think of it, there has really been, I said I was going to release my own stuff. Let's see if it comes up in the reading, but I have not felt this anxiety. Just to be clear, if this does come out in the reading itself, I have not felt this anxiety all week. All week I was excited about the fact that I'm finally, getting on a schedule in a lot of different ways, in a lot of areas of my life, getting organized. Things are looking great, better than they were, in terms of what I want where. So I've had a really positive energy all week. But the minute that I kind of knew something was up with this, at least one of the last 4 readings, had no idea it was Taurus. The minute that I actually got home, I was excited to come home early tonight to get this done. And the minute I got home, the anxiety it's like the reading almost started way beforehand, but I wasn't aware of quite what it was. And now that I'm settling into the reading itself, I still feel something right here, but it's not the same anxiety it was. Let me put it this way. You don't usually see me wake up. My eyes are red because I put this weird lotion under them. I'm telling you, I blow dried my hair, although that was cool because it's a new blow dryer. But I have done everything to procrastinate since 7:30 this afternoon, and it is now 11:30 when I'm recording this. So whatever is going on, I sure hope they tell us in the reading, because it feels very, I wouldn't even say it's and I should explain. When I say I have had this anxiety, I get warning signals. So if there's an anxiety about my family and anxiety about somebody I know, I can usually pinpoint that, and it's not the same feeling. This is more like the anxiety I get right before there's a big shift, right before something's about to change. And I'm just finding it interesting that I only got it when right before I was getting ready to do the reading. So I want to see what the cards say, but I would hazard to say that for the Tauruses, at least between now and definitely between now and October 31st, but I would say even as soon as the end of the month, there's going to be some things that are surprising. It may not be something that changes your whole world. This is kind of more channeled stuff right now. It's not something that's going to change your whole world. And of course, we're all at a different frequency, like different wavelengths on the same frequency, different frequencies, but similar wavelengths. We're individuals, and our energy field is different than anyone else's on the planet. So everything's going to be a little bit different for everybody. So for some people, this is going to hit like a huge tower. I just got a text message that might have explained some anxiety in my own life. Yeah, I think we're going to start seeing some stuff that is going to shake us a little bit. And I'm not talking losing houses or cars, or I don't feel anything that big, but I do feel like it's going to be something where you go, oh, okay. Just little bits of news that are surprising in a way that we don't expect between now and the end of September. Having said that, let me get into these. These are, and it was, can you tell I never thought I would be doing this for hiding my Goodwill sticker. I have no shame that I bought it from Goodwill, just don't think it's as pretty. These are my angel, sorry, not the angel, the medicine cards. And I apologize. I am not going to stop the video right now for this. I do know that even though I'm seeing something on my screen, you guys can't see it, and I'll keep going. I'll just see I'm getting another text. I hope there's no sound to that. But I'm using the medicine cards. And all of a sudden I have this well, that's interesting. There's a message in some of this. Even though we think that everything is where we want it and everything's in place, there are some things that we're going to have trouble getting back to where they were after the end of September, or between now and, after the end of September. I think these are going to be a series of events for some of us. For those of us who haven't already been having a series of events. And for those of us that have, it's going to be kind of starting to be more clear what pieces of the puzzles are not going to go back between now and the end of the month. And especially, I think it's something we need to figure out before, and I've been saying this a lot, October 31st, that's us for, if you're on this wavelength, that's when a new cycle starts for those of us on this wavelength. I don't know what that's about, but October 31st is very strong. And when I got that last one, at the bottom of the card, I got the snake. I'm not going to say who texted me. I had a feeling I wasn't going through by the book with all of these tonight. I don't know if I will with the rest. But for me, the snake is more dangerous. I usually think of venomous snakes. I live here in Arizona. We have, some pretty dangerous snakes here. So that's usually my first thought. And, of course, symbology is going to be, again, individual. But the person who just texted me does not feel that way about snakes. And somehow I have a feeling that although this is not a specific reading for someone in my close proximity, I believe that I'm pulling in their energy towards the thought of the snake, which for them it's a love of reptiles, but it's also, so for this person there's a love of reptiles, but at least to me, to my filter, I've always also seen it as a poke in the side of all of the people in the family who are terrified of snakes. They delight in that tiny bit of rebellious attitude when it comes to the snakes. I get the feeling that a lot of us Tauruses, oh geez, I just said us, I didn't mean to include myself in this. So I have to watch myself, and I think we're all going to have to watch ourselves. I get the impression that there is something that, yes, we genuinely love it. Yes, it's something that we really want. But it's going to be not popular with the people around us. It's going to be, and it may not even be socially unacceptable for everybody, but for specifically, we're all going to be going through trials, and although the trials will be individually different, the energy is similar. So I'm going to say that for a lot of Tauruses, and the majority of Tauruses that are watching this, there's going to be an energy of making choices, and it is a test. Okay, so this is not to criticize any of us, but making choices, we'll be put in the position of making choices between soothing those people around us and their ideals and their feelings about what's right for us or what we're doing, and just saying, no, I freaking love snakes, and I'm going to wear one everywhere I go, and I don't care if everybody looks at me funny. This is my passion, and this is what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to own this. And I think that's going to be the big test for us, is can we own our passion? Can we unblock our root chakra, unblock our heart chakra? Can we get in alignment with who we truly are? Because there's a reason for our passions. We wouldn't have them if they weren't divinely guided. We wouldn't have them if we weren't supposed to explore that part of ourselves. Right? And I'm not saying go into great extremes. There are some people that use that sort of, and I'm just going to go right out there and say it. There are some people that use that sort of argument. They've heard it said by therapists or something in regards to following your career as a dream. And they want to twist it and say, oh, well, that makes, doing something with little people okay. No, and by little people, I mean children. Okay? I don't want to get graphic here. But, no. No. If it is illegal or immoral, and we all have our own moral codes, but if it is illegal, I'm not encouraging it in any way. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying, in a general grand scheme of things, if it bucks society, if it bucks your family, if it bucks what other people think and believe, that's okay. Because at the end of the day, and I've told many people this, and I will never, God would have to change my mind. At the end of the day, when you're lying on your deathbed, and you're looking around and people are holding your hand, They're not going to be, most of the time, unless you've been horribly abusive in some way and have not already apologized, they're not going to be looking at you going, how could you have walked around the store with that snake on your neck your half your life? They're not going to be saying that. They're going to be sitting there remembering all the good memories. And it's going to be one of two ways. You're either going to have people who are really pissed at you because you haven't apologized, and they're going to be drudging up all the bad stuff anyway, because it needs to be cleared before you can pass, and they can pass or be okay with your passing. Or you're going to have the people who are just there to remember and celebrate your life. In either case, neither of those two is going to care one fig about the snake around your neck. So this is going to be a huge test for us. Can we do what our passion is and not worry about what anybody else thinks or says? Because in the end, it's between us and God, or divine creator, whatever you want, Allah, whatever name you have for him or her. It is literally that divine consciousness that created all things. That's the only thing I'm I hate to use the word afraid, but concerned about when I pass. That's it. What I do with my life is between me and God. And I think that's going to be our test. Yes, there are things that I'm going to do, like these videos, that I was originally afraid of what people would think. The first time, well, that's a whole personal story. I won't get into that. That'll be maybe somewhere down the line. But we all have our fears. We all worry about what somebody's going to think about us. And I'm going to tell you, I've met so many people who say, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. So for all of you who, like me, put on a brave face, I will be the first to raise my hand. Raise your hand in the box below if you put on a brave face and you say, I don't care what anybody thinks. But really, there's tests that you have not been taking up. There are things that you want to do, passions that you would steer away from, not because they're illegal, not because they're immoral, but because they're not politically correct. They're not what someone else would want you to do, or what would people think of me. You're not going to be happy in the box if you're a Taurus. I'm telling you right now, I've never met another Taurus that's happy in the box. And anyone tries to put me in the box, no, I don't do that box baby thing. Anyway, let's get on and see what other messages we have. Do we have any other messages for Taurus God? Oops, I'm being told I'm getting 2 of these. I'm guessing they're these 2. Oh, nope. We do not have a buffalo today. Alright. Excuse my weird looking concoction. It's the only way I can hide my cranberry juice. Orange juice, lemonade, and cranberry juice. Good for you. But I don't like cranberry juice by itself. Okay. And now you guys know more than me, or know more about me than most people in my life. Alright, so we have 33, the weasel, and number 18, the lynx. Both excellent hunters. Both small, able to crawl into small spaces, both very cunning animals. And even though this one came up, the weasel, I would hazard to guess that there is not a ferret in here. I also get, although weasels are typically more aggressive, I'm seeing a ferret. I'm getting the energy of a ferret for that one. So 33, And a ferret's energy would be the same. They're very smart, they're very cunning, very small, very able to wiggle in out of places. In the wild, from what I understand, excellent hunters. In a home, though, they can be, I would use the word loyal, because I've known people that let them run all over their house and they don't take off outside. They stay by their family. They know where they're, where they're getting fed. And they're very, very affectionate. All the ones I've ever, any ferret I've ever met in someone's house has always been very affectionate. Let me see. This is the part I was looking for. And I apologize. I have not read through this book yet. And I knew there was a piece to this I wanted. We're going to kind of skip over the cunningness, and we did the short version of that. A weasel's fur changes color with the seasons. Silent weasel has many lessons to teach you. Weasel would confound Great Spirit, pick Great Spirit's pockets, and leave Great Spirit contemplating the divine navel. Oh dear. Are we frustrating the divine? I say this like with a laugh. Oh, I'm going to be in so much trouble later. But I'm sure I have. Your power of observation is keen. You seem to be saying, leave me alone. I will do the same for you. You might even look a bit guilty at times due to what you know from observing life. But actually the message I'm getting with this is that, like the weasel, we tend to change with the seasons, as Tauruses. And I don't mean necessarily spring, winter, fall, but as the things in our lives change, we seem to be, Tauruses are very adaptable in my experience. It means we can go from being a mother to a CEO to a doting daughter to the best girlfriend in the world, or if we're crossed, we're not the vindictive key or car type, but we're the don't let the door hit you, we're the good Lord split you, I'll see you in the next life type. And what I'm getting here is that snake card, I should have left that snake card out. With that snake card, the message was that we were supposed to be doing things. Interesting that we have the butterfly. Talks about the weasel changing its colors, and then we have the butterfly, which is representative of change. I won't worry about getting the snake card anyway. But the whole message with that was being willing to defy what we consider social norms. And then we're talking about the weasel, and he's changing it's talking about him changing his fur, being able to fit in, being able to blend in. And Tauruses are very good at that. As I said, we can be the mother, we can be the girlfriend, we can be the CEO, we can be the doting wife, we can be the sexual powerhouse lover, okay? We have many hats, and we can wear them all. But the problem when we do that is that when we're wearing that hat, there's a set of guidelines, whether we have them for ourselves. Some of them are dictated by society. For instance, when we're a mom, okay, we change our baby. We're looking for the best diapers, the best wipes, the best of everything that we can get to make, that experience as non-traumatic as we can for our children. When we're a CEO, I've owned my own business, but haven't been a CEO, but I've been management. So let's take it down a notch, okay? Sorry about the CEOs, but I gotta take it down to my own filter. So when you're in management, you have to sometimes be a little tough. You have to, tell an employee, this is the rules, this is what's going to fly, this is not. But you also have to be encouraging, uplifting if you're a good manager, right? And so there's books that you can study. There's things that you can look into. And yes, you could be the tyrant if you're having a bad day or a bad week or bad year, but you're not going to keep employees, and that's going to be bad for business. So we follow a set of rules if we're trying to be the best that we can be. We follow a set of guidelines that both are societal in nature, psychological potentially, but we eventually set those rules in our own head, or we're following rules that someone else gives us. And the thing is that there is some energy that's coming up by the end of September that defies all of that. It is literally stepping outside of your comfort zone, outside of your box. And the message I'm getting is whereas it's talking about the weasel, being in the hen house. What was it exactly? Let me read it exactly. The hen house part was about them being sneaky. That was a little further up. Because I want to trigger what was going on in my head exactly as I was reading it. Okay, so the weasel changes color with the fur changes color with the seasons. We talked about that. The weasel has many lessons to teach you. The weasel can confound Great Spirit, pick Great Spirit's pockets, and then leave Great Spirit contemplating the divine navel. I think that's a message, a direct message for the Tauruses before the end of September, that we're being asked to choose. Right now, we're being asked to step outside of our box. But manifesting it's a magic all on its own. And what I mean by that is, if you have what I call contract magic, okay? I'm not big into doing contract magic. I think a lot can go wrong, especially if you're trying to do something in another language you don't understand. I don't like to mess with it, but I've seen it enough times to understand a few things. And one of those things is that it is literally that. It's a contract. Ritual magic is a contract. If this, then that. If I send up this, then I'm expecting this. Okay? There's a whole bunch more dynamics, and I don't play with it, so I don't really know if there's someone Wiccan there who wants to come back at me and say, oh no, if you do it, it always works. Okay. Maybe it's just me, because my thing is God first, God's will first. And that then brings us to manifesting. Manifesting is like a magic on steroids. It's like a runaway train if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know how to control it. So, and I don't mean manifesting that gets a little bit more into the structure. In fact, that's actually a good thing, and I think we're being guided to do that right now. But I'll get to that in a second. Without the structure I'm about to talk about, you get into I'm trying to think of a good example. Okay, actually I have one. I'm going to be very careful about manifesting myself. I do really love my job. But even if you love your job, right? Or you're borderline about your job. Actually, that's a better one. If you're borderline about your job and you're constantly thinking, like, some days you love your job, but sometimes you're not sure. Sometimes you don't like this X, Y, and Z and you're complaining about it, but sometimes you love it. What the universe is going to bring you is confusion, because you're confusing it. Do you want a new job, or do you not want a new job?
And so we're being asked to make that kind of choice. There is something in our close enough within our proximity of potential of being able to have it that we have thought about it. But as we have thought about it, this thing that we absolutely love, we have also allowed ourselves to think about all the no's, why can't I's. I can't do it because. I can't do it because. And when we do that, then depending on which of those two emotions is stronger, and usually, unfortunately, fear is a stronger emotion, even if we don't want it to be, until we actually feel the excitement and actually feel the joy of having it. When we're before that and we're just thinking about it, but we're afraid, fear becomes the greater emotion. Now, once we move into having it, then the joy takes over, like another rung of the train. It's like getting off at the train stop of fear, and then you walk over to joy, and you get on at joy, and that train takes over, right? And then you get more and more and more of what you want. We're being asked, though, to decide. A lot of us are kind of still going, I want this, but I don't want this. And some of it is defensive in nature. But a lot of it is just monkey mind. We can't make up our minds. Do we want to be safe? Do we want to be in the same place we're at? Or do we want to risk it, grab the brass ring, and go for broke, and potentially end up with the world? That's what the weasel card is talking about. We're confounding the divine because we're of two minds in at least one area of our lives. We're sitting here trying to figure out, do I want this? Do I not? Do I want this? Do I not? And I'm going to go out here on a limb because I'm getting choked with that channel feeling. And say that, and I know this reading was not for divine masculines and feminines, but when I say divine masculine and divine feminine, they are simply the energetic guides, if you will, for that wavelength of people. So the divine feminine and the divine masculine, energetically, their energy trickles down to then all the people in soulmate connections, all the people, all of the couples on that wavelength. So there's a lot of couples, a lot of Tauruses anyway, who are of two minds. Do I want this or do I not? Do I want this DM or do I not? Am I waiting for my quote-unquote DM, or am I stepping into somebody new or something new? Or do I go out by myself, completely alone? But we have to decide, because whatever we have in our head as our intention, there's no wrong answer. But whatever we set as our intention, by the next cycle, that's what the universe is going to start bringing to us. For those of you not getting lectured about a divine twin thing, it is about whatever it is that your passion is. And I'm going to say, even for the divine twins, the divine feminines and masculines or Tauruses, this is not just about this journey. This energy is going to be, for some of us, in multiple places in our lives. Love and career, family and money. So it's, how do we want that? I'll out myself. I'll raise my hand first. I'm having a very hard time with this. I've been told over and over that I need to make a decision. And on many, many things in my life, my decisions are quick and clear. No problem. But one of them I'm struggling with, that I'm willing to talk about, is the house. I'm grateful for where I'm at. I love this little house. But I've noticed a few little things, like it doesn't have a lot of outlets. And it's things like that. I am still in the stage, in my head at least, of deciding what I want in a house. What do I want my house to look like when I do purchase one? Or when the next move happens, however that happens. And I've been getting told, you need to decide, you need to decide, you need to decide. And so I'm working on that. And some of this, like that, takes some active effort on our part. So, okay, so let's say you have this passion, like the snakes. What you may want to explore that. Maybe there's a reptile lover watching this who's like, oh, you're talking about me. I love snakes. Well, what does that look like to you? Does that mean quitting your job and opening a reptilian store somewhere? A reptile store, excuse me, somewhere? Or could that mean just getting a tank in your home and having the snake with you there? How extensive do we want to follow our passions? Nothing says we have to open the store tomorrow. Nothing says we have to jump head in, feet first into the deep end. It's just saying it's time to start stepping into those paths of our passions, of the things that we want to do. We're being called to actually do that because it brings more joy into our life. Some of the things I've been the most afraid of were the things that gave me the greatest joys. So, anyway, I'm going to move off of the weasel, and we're going to go to the links. And this one I'm going to read, I believe, all the way through here. Number 18, the links. Lynx, you know the secret so very well, the dream time and the magic, but you will never tell. May I learn to hold my tongue, observe like the phoenix, powerful yet silent, the medicine of the lynx. It is said that if you want to find out a secret, ask lynx medicine. Unfortunately, it's difficult to get the silent lynx to speak. To be confronted by the power of medicine of lynx signifies that you do not know something about yourself or others. Lynx is the keeper of the secrets of lost magical systems and occult knowledge. Lynx has the ability to move through time and space, to go into great silence for unraveling any mystery. Lynx is not the guardian of secrets, but the knower of secrets. The problem lies in getting Lynx to instruct you. He or she would rather be off chasing birds or kicking sand in your face than running circles around you. Lynx medicine is a very specific type of clairvoyance. If this medicine is strong in you, you will get mental pictures concerning other people and the exact things that they have hidden either from themselves or others. You will see their fears, their lies, their self-deceptions. You will also know where they have hidden the treasure, if there is any. You never speak of these revelations. You simply know. Okay. I'm going to pause here and say that I think we're being told to move in silence in two ways. One, to meditate in whatever form that is for you, whether it's a walking meditation, being mindful, present in the moment, is actually a contradiction with walking meditation. Being mindful and present in the moment is a type of more meditation if you let it be. That means paying attention to the grass and the leaves and the birds, and maybe allowing whatever messages come to you from them come to you. And I'm oversimplifying it, and I'm sorry. But a walking meditation is a little bit more in depth. When you make it a full meditation, it could be walking around the block while in prayer for God and then waiting silently for an answer. You can, some people listen to, I personally have listened to the isochronic tones and binaural beats. And that's a great way to get into your different brainwave, they call it brainwave entrainment, and an amazing way to get into the different states of consciousness that allow you to be more alert when you need to be more alert, but also to be more in your, for lack of a better way to put it, your psychic mode. So I think it's telling us to go within and find the answers that we need to find. But it's also telling us to move quietly, to keep our secrets, whatever we see on these journeys, to ourselves. The only way you can coax information about yourself out of a Link's medicine person, in case you had forgotten where you hid the treasure, is to respect the practices of his or her tradition. And no, I don't think that was a mistake. So there's any cross watchers out there watching Taurus. I think the message with that is it is transition. Tauruses are going through a transition this month. That's what that is about. Is learning to be able to take off our very structured hats and take on this hat that we really want. It's goofy, it's got feathers all over it, it's out to here, it's absolutely crazy, and we don't care. We don't care because it makes us happy. That's what we're being encouraged to take on and to put on that hat. And so if there's a cross watcher out there that is trying to deal with a Taurus in this transition, the way to get the secrets out of the Taurus, the way to communicate with the Taurus, isn't by pressure, it isn't by force, it isn't by hinting, but by gentle conversation, asking questions, being truly engaged and concerned where the Taurus is concerned. You have to be somebody that they're going to trust, or they're not going to tell you about this silly hat. And to honor whatever it is the Taurus wants to do. Because and Tauruses, most Tauruses are going to sit there and say, oh, no, I don't do that much, and anybody would do it, and they're the nurturers, they're the caretakers, they're the ones with the weight of the world on their shoulder and hardly ever saying a word, except they're the very closest people, and even then, not unless they consider it urgent to defend themselves. For the most part, you're not going to hear something from a Taurus. So the idea of wearing a hat that makes other people upset hits at the very heart of our wanting to make other people happy. It's an oxymoron. We're being asked to do one of the hardest things ever for us to do. So if there's a cross watcher out there that this is for, because that's what I feel like it's for, if you're really, honestly, genuinely here to try to understand your Taurus, then that's how to reach the Taurus. Ask questions. Be kind, be considerate, be compassionate, be trustworthy, and don't judge the Taurus for wanting to wear that hat, because we wear a lot of hats. And right now it's the end of September, and we're being told to wear something that's fun for us, and gosh darn it, it's about damn time. Alright, let's see if there's anything else in here for us Tauruses. You must show your respect by paying with money after the reading if you go to a... Okay, that was kind of a personal thing. A lot of different people, a lot of healers, different beliefs. The point is show respect. That could be a donation, that could be a thank you, that could be a hug, that could be an exchange of food, that could be cleaning someone's house, that could be 100 different things. And we're not talking about just readers. Not every Taurus is a reader. So let's not focus on this. I'm including that for the cross readers, and because I don't want to confuse anyone here. But they're talking about showing respect to the Taurus. At this part, they were also mentioning if you want to get to the links within you. So that message here is about also respecting yourself. I'll read it again. Please forgive the part because it sounds like a plug for readers, and a reader shouldn't be reading. That's weird. But at least I feel so. And there goes the whole Taurus. We pretend we don't care what people think, but we sometimes do. But it also goes to that whole self-talk. The only way you can coax information about yourself out of a Link's medicine person, in case you've forgotten where you hid the treasure, is to respect the practices of his or her tradition. If you go to a gypsy with Link's medicine, you must show your respect about paying with money after the reading. If you go to a... Oh, maybe I judged too soon. I think it's Choctaw medicine person. He or she will reach into your midsection or use other traditional methods to help you. A blanket or tobacco should be given in exchange for the medicine he or she has performed. This operative is known as the Law of the Lynx people and is practiced by Native Americans. Okay, so they were including other things, and it's not always money itself, which makes me feel a little better. I guess I just got a little wonky, and I'm not going to edit because I don't know how, so forgive me. Gypsy, Sufi, and Egyptian cultures, among others. If you pull the Lynx card, you can be sure that secrets are afloat. If this is your personal medicine, you should listen to your higher self. Be still and pay attention to the revelations you receive, either in the form of medicine pictures or through a high-singing voice in your inner ear. Perhaps you will receive information in the form of omens. You can be sure that Mother Earth is signaling to you in some manner. If Lynx is at your door, listen. Brother or sister Lynx can teach you of your personal power and things you have forgotten about yourself. Lynx can lead you to your lost treasures and connect you to forgotten brotherhoods or sisterhoods. Some medicine people believe that the Lynx of the ancient Egypt was not a lion but a lynx. Oh, the Sphinx, excuse me. Of the ancient Egypt was not a lion but a lynx. This lynx does not say much. With an enigmatic smile, the great cat watches over the sands of forever. Okay. We are at 46 minutes. I think that's already quite a reading. But I am trying to pull, I'm hearing 3 cards. Energy Oracle. Alright. So I guess it's all about us. Taurus is an energy, huh? Oh, I guess I'm not done. Whoops, never mind. I spoke too soon. Okay, so they want two of these. We're going to clarify the weasel, and we're going to clarify the lynx, it says. They say. Alright, I'm going to look at them. This one. And this one. In front of the weasel, the magician in the mirror in reverse. This is both about looking at yourself and seeing yourself honestly when it's in its upright and manifesting what you want. It came out clarifying the weasel, which we just discussed. They were talking about us manifesting properly because we keep doing the monkey mind thing. We can't decide what we want, which way. So we have the magician looking in the mirror in reverse. We're not seeing something about ourselves clearly, and we're not giving a clear signal to the universe. Something is definitely out of alignment. For the lynx, I'm afraid to look. A woman holding a heart. Alright, I'm going to read number 44. Just to okay, maybe I'm wrong. Let's hope I'm wrong, okay? Because I thought we were doing good on this. In the upright, the woman holding a heart, oftentimes to me means someone who's ready for love, has her heart out there, she's healed, she's good. In the reverse, it would be the opposite. I'm hoping I am wrong. I was so certain. In the reverse, this card reverse could indicate a state of being emotionally overwhelmed. You may feel as though your love life is turned upside down. It could also refer to some difficulty in family matters or close friendships. If this is the case, it's time to go resolve things now. I'm so glad they told me to read the book. There is also a possibility that this woman reversed is someone who brings a negative emotional influence to your life. There may be jealousy, resentment, or even more subtle manipulations going on. Don't take things personally, but endeavor to bring greater clarity and and calm and self-empowerment to the situation. And always remember to bring a loving, heartfelt energy. Actually, this is okay. I think I'm gonna have to get clarification on whether or not we're healed and ready for love. But remember, this is to clarify the links, and the links was talking about going within for secrets. But I think the other part of that is when we go within, we will want to know a truth, and we go in, we ask the question. We may not get it in a vision, we may not get it in a dream. Not everybody is visually strong. It may not come through our psychic intuition. Sometimes it will, but it may not. And when it doesn't, what often happens is if we're patient enough, the universe will bring us the truth we need. Not to say that we will know everything. Some stuff is none of our business, but we'll find out what we need to find out. On that note, the part that I was talking about a woman being in your life, I don't get the feeling that this is a third-party situation in someone else's life or divine twin flame, anything. I think this is about, again, this is more about learning the lesson of passing this test, of being willing to go for what we want and not worry about what other people think. So when it's talking about this feminine, I get the feeling in some cases, for some Tauruses, it's going to be a masculine person, masculine energy, but they will have maybe had to take on a feminine role of being the caretaker. Okay? In other cases, it could be a mother, it could be an overbearing sister, a cousin, a best friend, but it's going to be someone who directly disagrees with your decision, does not like how is going to have all kinds of things to say. This test is going to be about, or passing this test is going to be about not worrying about what they say. It is not their life. And for you yourself, you may be already feeling overwhelmed about this. I think this comes right back to what I was talking about with the whole energy that we're being asked to take on, and in choosing something that we really want. Again, I apologize for this. As long as it's not immoral or illegal, it is nobody else's business. I think we're being guided to walk in silence for a little while until we're completely ready to put it out there. That doesn't mean like walking in silence forever. That means until, okay, for instance, you wouldn't necessarily go tell everybody, oh, I'm going to get a snake. I'm going to go get the container. No, just go do it. Go get the container, get the snake, make sure you have it all set up, get the live rats if that's what you're going to feed it, or dead rats or whatever. Get your separate fridge. And don't say a word to anybody. It's nobody's damn business. And when they come over to your house, if your snakes are in the back bedroom, they don't even see it, they'll never know. And if it's somewhere in the living room and they're not comfortable being there, well, then they can meet you somewhere else. You can go out to lunch. Nobody's damn business, Patron. Get the snake. Don't worry about what anybody else says. Move in silence until you're ready. If it's buying a new house, wait until the contract is signed. If it's dating somebody that you absolutely adore and love and somebody else wouldn't approve of, and I'm not talking about because they're abusive or anything like that, I don't condone putting yourself in those positions. But I'm talking about if you're talking a different race. Okay, two people falling in love and getting married and being of different skin colors, and anyone saying anything bad about that makes me want to say the F word really bad towards whoever is saying anything. Because love is love. Love does not know skin color. Right? But there are families that will do it. They will condemn both the person in the family and the person outside of the family for doing it. People are still ass backwards. Same thing with religions. Do I think that a marriage with two separate religions is going to be easy? No. Can it be worth it? Yes. If two people love each other enough and respect each other enough, they'll learn about each other's religion. Now, They not only have the experience of one viewpoint on God, but they have the experience of two. It can be an amazing, beautiful thing. I've seen it work. So what I'm saying is, do what you're going to do. Don't ask permission. Don't say anything to people. Again, as long as it's morally or ethically correct, it's none of their damn business. And then when they find out and they don't like it, fuck them. Sorry. But seriously, now I think I know why God told me to wear this. I know I'm going to get flack from people that I know. Because there are people that I know that know what these are. And for anyone who is watching the tarot reading, if you don't know what these are, historically, there's called slave bracelets. There's a whole big story behind them. Okay? I am not now, nor will I ever be anyone's slave. Wearing something like this does not define me. So the fact that anyone I know would get all bent about it, about what it means or what it could mean, although they need to look up the history, is ridiculous. Do you know why I'm wearing it? Because I was nervous. I was completely flipping out and just trying to do something to make myself busy. And I wanted to do something to make myself feel a little bit better. And they're shiny. And a friend just gave them to me. And they're shiny. That's it. It is really literally that shallow and that deep. It made me feel better. That's all. It made me feel better. In all honesty, from a psychological standpoint, I think it's because when and I'm getting really into deep stuff here, but the point of this, I think there's a reason I'm being guided to out myself with stuff, is because I think this is for the cross watchers too. But I think if you listen to what I'm saying, you're going to find that it holds true for some of the things for you too. I'll repeat again. I live in Arizona. Would I get very nervous when I start feeling self-conscious? I tend to go to the sweaters, the big bulky sweaters, the long sleeve shirts. I want to hide every piece of my skin, every piece of myself, and just like shrink into, like I spend all day being strong. I just want to shrink into a little ball and be infinitesimally nothing for just a little while. Not be seen, not be noticed, just be in my little comfort zone. But it's summer here and it's freaking hot. And so wearing a sweater while I did this was not practical. So I think that part of why I like these is the feeling of there's something on my wrist, there's something on my hands. So from a tactile perspective, it actually does kind of make me feel a little bit like I'm wearing a longer sweater. Like when I say comfort sweaters, I mean they come down to my knuckles. And it makes me feel a little bit like I'm wearing that. So from a tactile perspective, I feel a little less exposed, a little less naked. Now that is a very psychologically personal thing that I just divulged to anybody, so I don't want to see any negative comments in there. It is what it is. But my point is that we all have our reasons for what we do. And sometimes people judge before they understand, before they know what the whole thing is about. And you can't let somebody else judge you. I mean, you can't stop them. What is that phrase that they say? It's being spread around so well. It's pretty good. It is not my business what someone else thinks of me. Well, that's the case here. It is not our business what someone else thinks of us Tauruses. We just need to hop on the new train. It's time to get off of the old train, whatever that is, and take our leap of faith, jump into the thing that we've been thinking about doing. Now, if you haven't already been thinking about doing something that scares you just a little bit, that you're worried a little bit about what someone else is going to think, then this may not be your reading. You may not be on this wavelength, and that's okay. It really is. This advice may be more beneficial to you. Either you've already done this test, or maybe when it comes up for you, it'll be beneficial to you. Go ahead and mark it, save it for later. But the fact is that I think everyone on the planet at some point is going to go through this lesson. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, we're getting this opportunity right now, Tauruses. So embrace it, and let's all encourage each other. And I'm not quite ready to step out there and start a Facebook group just yet, but we can definitely comment in the comments and cheer each other on when we start doing the things that we want to do, that we're a little afraid to do. So I tell you what, I've got two of them. One is I'm still deciding on, and the other is this, like literally this. I'm doing my best to step out into my fears and to start taking on these videos that I'm called to do more. Although that one's kind of an easy one. God tells me to do something, I do it. Okay, so the other one is well, let's just say that there are some things in my life, a person in my life, that I'm trying to decide whether or not I continue conversation on a regular basis. How much conversation do I have? What do I want that relationship to look like? And I don't care what anybody else in the world thinks, but I do care very much what that person thinks. And it's making my decision making very hard. So, there's mine. I raised my hand. It's out there with as much detail as I feel comfortable giving for a lot of reasons. So, if you feel comfortable giving a snippet of your detail, raise your hand in the box below, and let's cheer each other on. In fact, I will say this. The first 10 comments that are made, no matter when they're made, out of the first 10 comments, once it reaches 10 positive, we're cheering each other on comments, either raising your hand and telling what you're working on, or encouraging someone else who did in a full comment, I will put those names in a hat, draw the hat while everyone's watching, and I will do one free reading for that person. Anyway, on that note, have a wonderful rest of September. Good luck to us all, and I will see you later.